I'll put up Josh's picture and I'll just get this up. And I'm reading you the timeline from a family member who posted, it was his sister actually, who posted it in the Facebook group. And I will show you the Facebook group in a minute so anyone new can then go and add themselves to the page. Because we're trying to do as much as we can to move this forward. He was a really good lad. And do you know what? If I just give you a little bit of background information into Josh, because I didn't really do this yesterday, but I'd spoken to Ash about Josh before. So Josh is a really nice guy. Really nice, calm guy. Everybody likes him. His main passion in life is Wolves football team. And he could be described as vulnerable. Vulnerable in just how trusting he was. Thank you, Kelsey. So if, for instance, you'd gone on holiday and you'd met Josh and you'd said, like, we want you to come to this bar with us, we're going to have a great time, he would have gone. Likewise, if you'd probably said to Josh, you know, I need you to come with me and help someone, he would have gone. He just didn't see the bad in people a lot. He did really see the good in people. Now, one thing that his sister did point out, which I'll make a note of in a minute, that last text message, she doesn't know whether his phone was still on. Yeah, Marion. She didn't know if his phone was still on English time, his SIM, or whether it moved over to Spanish time. Hi, Ash. So, Ash, I'm just going to, just because you've just come in, I'll just explain to you what I'm doing. A lot of the people from here yesterday to here today weren't here yesterday. So I'm very briefly going to go over what we talked about yesterday before we start anything else. I'm going to do the timeline again and just talk about some of the things like we talked about yesterday about the phone times and stuff maybe being off. And then I'm going to, overnight, I need to look into some more things I've been looking at. Reviews of the hotel, any crime that's happened around the hotel, the taxi ranks, and I'm also looking into local crime in that area and similar things. Similar things of what's gone on in that area. I tried to do some stuff this morning, but I've been catching up with Brett Dryden's mum this morning. Just trying to talk about some of the updates they've had. So I just kind of want to do pretty much what we did yesterday again today, but just add in some more information, if that's okay. Now, for anyone who is in here who wasn't yesterday, this is Ash. This is Josh's sister, and if you can follow her because she is posting content about her brother, and she is like a family spokesperson as well, and really helping her mum push for justice for Josh. So if you could follow up Ash, that would be amazing. So, okay. So I want to note something because I know that somebody messaged me yesterday to ask if the family or anyone is concerned that Josh ended up going to Spain by himself, and they're not. He'd been to Benidorm by himself before. He had been solo travelling before, and there was no. This was not out of the ordinary. This wasn't anything other than. And this is Dion here as well. I'll pin Dion afterwards. This is Josh's mum, and I'm pointing this out to you guys as well. I know how lovely and respectful you guys are, but please do bear in mind that Josh is not just a case. He's not just a victim. He is a son, a brother. And their family member. So please try to be kind, compassionate. I know I don't have to say this to you guys because I know how lovely you all are. Morning, Esther. So again, I'm just going to quickly run through the timeline with you. So anyone who missed yesterday, you can catch up with exactly what's happened here. So Josh went on holiday to Lloret de Mar in Spain on a lone trip, which he'd done a few times previously, gone on lone trips. So it was nothing out of character, although he'd not been to this area before. Ash, anyone who disrespects your family in any way will be blocked off my page for the rest of their lives. The one thing I will not have is anybody saying anything inappropriate, especially in regards to the fact your mum and you are here. So the mods will be strict on that, don't worry. So Josh arrived at Barcelona airport late. Prior to the holiday, Josh had already arranged with a Lloret de Mar taxi driver. A lone trip means you go alone. You just go on your own. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't a lone trip, it was an alone trip, I should say. So he had arranged with a Lloret de Mar taxi driver he had found on Facebook, on a local Facebook group, to pick him up from the airport and transfer him to the hotel. On the way to the hotel that night, the taxi driver took Josh to pick up a kebab, and Josh arrived at the hotel at approximately 1 a.m. on Saturday morning, and that's Saturday the 20th of September 2025, okay? Solo traveller, thank you, Danny. So, family requested footage from the hotel of Josh checking into the hotel, and that wasn't provided, it was ignored. So on Saturday the 20th of September, Josh's kebab remained in that hotel room untouched, hadn't been touched at all. So we don't know what maybe made him anxious or not want to eat. It could just be that he was so tired he crashed out when he got back to his room, but for some reason his food was untouched. Now, on Saturday the 20th of September, so he arrives in the early hours of the morning. Thank you, Simon. Thank you everyone for the hotme's. Josh sends a worrying last text message to a family member. And it reads this. I'm going to show you the message. Mate, I fucked up good and proper. Okay, and this is the first time we are telling people what this message said. It's always just been called a worrying message before, but I'm glad that we've been able to, and the family have agreed to us putting out this message, because I do believe this message is one of the biggest red flags, thank you a few balloons, that actually something happened and Josh was worried and felt like something had spun out of control. So Josh was seen on the CCTV at the hotel, in the room, so this was a missed call, but it had, because he tried to phone the family member afterwards and they didn't have their phone on them, so they didn't answer, but I've cut it off because it had the number. So I've just cut off half the message because I didn't want to put any numbers out. So Josh was seen on CCTV at the door of his hotel room speaking to a cleaner. He was then seen on CCTV exiting the hotel front doors at 12:23 p.m. Okay, so we believe he sent this before he left the hotel due to the fact that it was in English time on an English person's phone. Okay, so it was back here. So yesterday I was getting confused with that, whether he sent it after he left the hotel, but it seems he sent it before. So he left his hotel at 12:23 with all of his euros in cash, plus his phone, which we assume because none of them were in his room. His key card to his room was left on his bed. Now, his mum had not heard from Josh on Saturday and become concerned, as Josh was constantly in contact, especially when on holiday. On Sunday the 21st, the next day, let me just put his picture back up so for anyone coming in. On the next day, which was Sunday the 21st, I'll move that down. There we go. Josh had arranged his private transfer through the Mum had remembered that Josh had arranged his private transfer through the taxi driver on the Lorette de Mar Facebook page, and Josh had told his family the taxi driver's name, so they managed to find him quite quickly and sent a message to say, did you drop Josh off? Was everything fine? And he replied saying, yep, everything was okay. Josh had been dropped at his hotel. And Mum asked the taxi driver if he could please go back to the hotel and check on Josh, as no one could get hold of him. And he said he would go the next day on the Monday. And I just want to note here that Josh did everything right. He did everything right. He went on a solo travel, so he gave his mum a lot of information, including about when his flights were, who was going to do the transfer, and all of those things. So that lets you know. Jem, can you message me about why, just in case, just so I know why, because I'm surprised by that, but just let me know. You don't have to unblock. He even let them know who he was getting a taxi from, so all of that information was available. So he's kept himself safe at every point, which is exactly what anyone else would do travelling, right? He wasn't on a mystery trip or hiding stuff from his family. He had told his mum exactly even who he had found on Facebook. So I just want to note that, because for anyone thinking Josh went out there to oh, that's our Star, so you must have blocked someone else. Okay, I saw Star was blocked and I was like, oh, what did she do? Because she's normally always in here. Okay, thank you. Don't worry about it then, Jem. I thought you'd blocked our Star. I thought it was, and I was like, what? No. So that point, if he was going over there to commit crime or do something horrific or all of that, he would have not told his mum. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to leave your mum any of those information. So he obviously was going out there just for a holiday. No criminality suspected or going to take part in, okay? That's important. Now on Sunday the 21st, we do that. On Monday, the taxi driver goes to the hotel, and Josh has not been seen at the hotel, thank you, since Saturday. He passed on the message from the hotel to Josh's mum, and says that she needs to call the hotel to register Josh as a missing person. During this time, the family are posting on Facebook and other social media and Lorette de Mar Facebook pages that Josh was missing and reaching out to anyone who could help them. Thank you. On Saturday, Josh's football team Wolves had a match that evening, which was on TV. And Josh would have likely gone to a bar to watch the match and likely wouldn't have missed it. Now, we do know, I believe this is true. If you guys can tell me, I'm pretty sure it's true, but if Ash or Mum can just tell me if this is, we believe Josh had already booked a table at a bar to watch this game. He had his excursion mapped out, so he'd already booked somewhere that he was supposed to be at because he loved Wolves and he wasn't going to miss this game. So he booked himself a table. He never showed up, and that was his plan. So we know at that point, at some point in between when the Wolves game was and when he left his hotel, shit changed really quickly, because he had mapped out his whole holiday, and he had booked things, he had paid for things, he had things moving. He knew where he was going to be at what time. So he does not turn up at that match. Now, then Ash contacts as many Lloret de Mar bars to see if they have seen him, if he could have been there for the game, and nobody seems to have sighted him at all. Now, on Tuesday the 23rd of September, his mum, Dion, hears nothing, and she's like, I'm not waiting to hear about my baby anymore. I'm going out there. That's all I've heard all over online of what a big Wolves fan he was, and he wasn't going to miss it. We'll talk about that in a minute, Demi. So at that point, his mum heads out there with her partner, and they fly out the next day, which will be the Wednesday. And at that point, as they book their flights, they're ready to go. An article in the Catalan news page states a body has been found in a local wooded area in Lloret de Mar, and it's been posted all over social media, which then his family are sent hundreds of times because they're appealing for Josh. On Wednesday, has been questioned by police. Let go. Thank you. So basically, on Wednesday the 24th, his mum received a message from the taxi driver. Now, this is one part I just can't get over. Now, I'm not putting any shade onto this taxi driver at all, but this doesn't make sense to me. So on Wednesday, the taxi driver texts his mum to say, I believe the body that was found is Josh and he's died from natural causes. I don't get the natural causes thing. I just don't. I don't get why a taxi driver would assume that a 33-year-old man found in a wooded area would have died of natural causes. I would have more likely thought heat exhaustion, misadventure, like Josh has fallen. I would never have assumed it was natural causes in a 33-year-old man. But Leslie, like, as somebody who covers follows a lot of true crime, and I know you're quite clever because you always message me stuff, would you not, if I said to you, a 33-year-old man's body's been found in my local woods, would you not think he's unalived himself, he's fallen, he's hurt himself, murder, misadventure? Why would you go straight to natural causes? Which, by the way, will kind of come out to be the thing that the Spanish police also say, it's sudden death. So to me, it just seems so bizarre to make that assumption. It seems so bizarre. And I just can't get my head around how, without the only way I would have to have been over Josh's body to see myself. There was no sign of trauma, no sign of anything, to be like, well, it looks like natural causes to me. You would have to see him, and I just don't get it. But anyway, that's what he told the family. Mum asked the taxi driver if she was sure it was Josh, and he replied, it seems so. His mum then called the Spanish police regarding what she had been told, and told them she had flights booked and would be in Spain by the night time, and they suddenly arranged a meeting for the police station at 9 a.m. the next day. Hi, Tammy. On Thursday, the 25th of September, the meeting involving mum and her partner gave a description of Josh, and the police confirmed the body was wearing a local hotel wristband from the Blue Vista Hotel. The police told mum it was 100% Josh. The police said there were no signs of foul play anywhere on the body. A judge would not accept that even though he had been registered as a missing person, had a distinctive tattoo, because he had a big Wolves tattoo, and he had his hotel wristband on. Because he didn't have any ID on his body, they had to wait for a DNA test before they could do anything. Now, Josh had no fingerprints or dental records in the UK due to the fact he did not commit crime. He didn't have any of those things on file ready to go. DNA tests would need to be done on both Josh and his mum to identify Josh and establish a link to his mother. DNA was taken from his mum and her fingerprints were taken, and they were told they would have to wait 8 weeks, up to 2 months, for the DNA despite the fact that it could be done so much quicker than that, especially in a place where you have a deceased person. I could probably get a DNA test against a father or something very much quicker than that. So the fact this family are just waiting to even know whether Josh is still out there missing or deceased is absolutely horrific. Now, his mum stays for 5 days in hopes there'll be a change in the judge's decision and that they will let her see Josh to identify him that way. And they are saying, nope, because you don't have any legal ties to this body and we don't know who it is, we're not letting you see him. So at this point, his mum waits a full 5 days. There's nothing else she can do. They won't let her move forward. The judge won't change his mind. They then start retracing his steps out there to feel closer to Josh, to try and find out what happened to him. And I want to show you this area now. I will show you this area because where Josh was found was such a strange place. The area is so overgrown. It looks just like this, but the area where Josh was found, which is where the yellow writing is here, it is a walkway. So opposite there is a big, hey Big Toe, there's a big fancy housing estate, a really like well-to-do housing estate. You look directly across the road, and I'll show you some more pictures in a minute, and there is just this path that leads into a wooded area, and Josh kind of went slightly into there and then died, apparently, according to them. Now, you have, no idea, Kirsty, so you have in Lloret de Mar, so you have 3 ways to go. Thank you, Emma. You go 25 minutes up the road from his hotel, up a big hill, and you have the posh housing estate, keep going towards civilization, or this dirty little dirt path that goes this way into woods that he's never been to before, and you've got a little walkway between the fence here and just brambles. And apparently Josh chose to go that way. No, he's not. I cannot explain to you in a minute, Debbie, why he couldn't. So they retrace his steps. They go out to this area. It becomes even more non-understandable how this could possibly have happened, why he would have been in this area, why he would have chose to go this way. It was so overgrown. It literally is horrific. So then there's nothing to tell them that the incident recently happened in the woods. There's nothing cordoned off, no police tapes, no markings, no nothing. Nothing. So they then go around the area, they're taking pictures, they spot loads of CCTV cameras, they ask the police to get the footage, the police say none of the cameras work. None. None near the hotel, none up that path, none near that housing estate. They're just there to pick up number plates. They don't see anything else, apparently. Now, Mum and Stu went back to the hotel. Now, despite the fact they weren't allowed to even look at the body at all to see if it was Josh or not, they weren't allowed to ID the body in any way. They were allowed to go back to the hotel and take all of Josh's stuff, despite the fact that they weren't allowed to do anything else, which makes no sense. And then, despite the fact they hadn't even ID'd him yet, let alone had a cause of death, they decided that his mum could take his stuff home. So you haven't even started an investigation at this point. Don't know if you're looking for other people's fingerprints, DNA, none of those things. You just decide, well, you might as well take it home. So they go into the room. The kebab is there, completely untouched, that he bought the night before. None of his cash is there, none of his euros are there. And his mum knows, yeah, I'll get to that in a minute, second dash, thank you. His mum knows how many euros he got because she changed them for him. So all the money's gone, the key card's on the bed, and his passport is there in the room. So his mum brings that home. The police say they can't tell her anything until the DNA is complete, but they are allowed to take all his belongings home, which makes no sense. All the cash is gone, Kirsty, everything he took for holiday. We'll get into how much and stuff in a second. So they then say that he died on the 20th or the 21st, and they say he died of sudden death. His phone has never been found, neither has the money. So they want the family to believe that Josh, on his first day of holiday, full of excitement about the upcoming Wolves game, even had booked a table already to make sure that he didn't miss his beloved team. Instead of going there, he come out of the hotel. He sent a message saying, I've fucked up, good and proper. He then walked 25 minutes up a road, despite the fact he had a medical condition, which meant he couldn't. He then walked into that wooded area and then just died. Just died. And while he died, his phone and money jumped out of his pocket and ran away. And may I add that since Josh has died, someone's been reading one of his messages and someone's also turned on his phone. But according to police, they're not interested in that, right? Now, Josh had a condition from birth called CMT, which would affect mainly your feet and your mobility. And that means that he would have really, really struggled to walk up that 25-minute hike up the hill towards that area. He would have absolutely struggled to get there. He would have avoided anything that wasn't flat and even. And even if he had got to this area and looked in, he would have known, because of how overgrown it was and how up and down it was, he would have known that he couldn't have handled that, and he would have never have gone in there. So I have to tell you this, and I hate talking about this because I know Ash and his mum are in here, but I think it's important to tell you some of these facts because we have to. They decided not to embalm the body in Spain, and they decided not to store it in correct conditions. And so by the time they gave the family the news that the DNA had come back that it was Josh, the family were forced into cremation due to the fact he had decomposed so terribly that nobody could see him or spend time with him. They couldn't even view a tattoo. When Ash asked if she could please go in, they said, your brother's covered in maggots. Are you sure that you want to? It's impossible. That's what they said to a family. So the family had, and I literally brings tears. I'm a parent, like it kills me. They were then told, you can either bury him here in this country and leave him behind, or you cremate him. And so the family had a choice of cremating their brother and son so that he would never be able to have a second autopsy, or just leave him behind in another country. They not only showed no empathy to his family, they showed no respect. No, they didn't allow any dignity to Josh after death. He was 33, a young man. It absolutely breaks. I can't imagine. No respect, no kindness. They knew that the family were waiting for nearly 2 months for this DNA test. He should have been kept in proper conditions. They destroyed his clothing he was wearing. I'm so sorry, Ash. It's what these Spanish cases, I wish I just one day would cover one part where I think, oh, they did it correctly. They did it correctly. And I spoke to Sandra this morning, Sandra Dryden, because we were trying to put something together. And even up to this point, every single time that she has this big news, like, oh, this has happened. I'm like, oh my God, this is what we needed. And they just knock her down again. And I just think, how can they ignore this? Like, it just breaks my heart. It just literally, the compassion that it should be shown to any mother who has lost a child, which is the most unnatural thing in the world. They should almost be coddled, like as a mother, like who is grieving, a sister. It should almost be like people are like wrapping you in cotton wool. It should be like anything but this. To lose a loved one on holiday. When he was literally in the prime of his life is so horrific. And then to be told things like in those wording, like that's things you'll never get over. They can never take back those words. So they forced the family into cremation because of what they'd done. And he couldn't be repatriated, so he had to be cremated. And his cremation took place in Spain, and they brought then his ashes back there. No other way. So no, that's fine, Jem. You didn't have to explain that. I thought you blocked the other Star. That's what I was thinking. Like, but Star loves true crime. I thought, I can't imagine her being rude and alive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break just while I put up the Facebook page, and I need people to go over and follow it up. This family need help pushing Josh's story out. Yesterday we got up to now 677. I have to say that for my daughter because if I don't, I feel bad. So I need this to get up to 700 in the next couple of minutes. So I'm going to put the page up here. If you go over to Facebook, if you've got Facebook, and join this page, please. Justice for Josh Rogers. please go over and I'm going to watch the page rise. We should be up to, if there's new people in it today, we should be able to get up to at least 750, guys. I'm just asking you to follow, repost the post, interact with the family, let them know that you care. If you already followed yesterday, you don't have to again. Please, can you go if you haven't? Thank you, Star. I said yesterday, the responsibility of someone who follows true crime, who enjoys listening to it, likes the mystery of it all, likes hearing the family story, it's also a responsibility to call to actions, to sign the petitions, follow up the page, interact with the family, see what you can do. Think about ideas like, do you know anyone who's staying in that local area? Have they had a bad experience? Do you know about that hotel? Have you heard any rumours? All of those things. Thank you, Mel. Good choice. It's just too little too late, a little too much, and I can't wait. Right, we're at 7:36. Keep going, guys. 7:37. 7:42. Let's go. 7:45. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, everyone who's joined. Please have Ash's DNA tested in the UK. Can you have... I never even thought about getting Ash's DNA tested. His sister did see in the end a tattoo on his arm, which Josh had, the wolves tattoo. Right, we're at 7:70. Thank you guys so much. And can everyone can one of the mods pin Ash's account as well, please, so we can push Ash's page out? Oh, you're an ex-funeral director, Beth. You may come in handy then for some questions I have. We're going through it now, Alice. I will. So someone asked a minute ago how much Josh had. He had about £200 to £300 in euros, €200 to €300 at the time. He also had his bank card on him. So he had €200 to €300. He also had his bank card on him. That's never been used. They don't know where it is, but it's never been used again. Doing the same as followed. Apologies, doing the same as followed. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Scott. That's such a nice Scott's winner. That's such a lovely way to ask. What lovely manners you have. Let me follow you back. I appreciate good manners. So he had, what did his mum say then? €500. We had €500 and you did them for him, didn't you? So thank you for that. So he had €500 and he had his bank card. It's not found. It's never been found, but nobody's ever accessed money on it. Plus more in English. Perfect. Thank you, Dion. So, okay. So I'm just going to go through. So we know the okay. I just want to have a look at. There was a picture that you sent me, Ash, yesterday that I really wanted to show because I think it really shows the. This was it, I think. Was that the area? It was one of the ones that showed going up to the. I wanted to show the direction up the hill. This might be another one I wanted to show. It's just. I don't think that was it. Did I see it on the group? I may have seen it on the group actually. Let me go back through these pictures quickly because I might spot it. Let me show you a couple of Blue Seat Mount Vista. That wasn't what I want. Oh, let me have a look. I'm looking into that hotel at the moment because I just want to see if there's any other kind of stories like this. Let's see. Okay, write that down. Let me just show you guys who went in here yesterday some of kind of the photos of this area because I just want to make it make sense to you guys. What did Laura say? The reviews about I have seen some of the reviews of the hotel and they are awful. They are awful. But what I want to know is if there was any criminality. Do you know what, Laura? Do you know how many cases I cover that if the CCTV had just been working, we wouldn't still be here? And the amount of times that we're told that everything's on CCTV, right? And it is. Whenever you need them, all of a sudden it's not there. And this isn't just Spain. This is America. This is UK. It's always the cameras aren't working. No, O'Donoghue, that case would be solved if there was cameras. Georgina Garcella, her mum, would know where her body was right now if the cameras were working. It's just always the same thing. In that case, the police allowed them to be all wiped over and then said, oh, sorry, we're still looking for Georgina. It's every single... What is the point? Adriana Young. Nicola Bulley, the only camera that didn't work in the village that day was the one where the bench was. The only one in the whole village. Everything else was covered, the cameras, everything. The only one that didn't work was the one of the bench where Nicola Bulley was. Doesn't make any sense. I almost never expect the cameras to be working anymore. So this is kind of the area where Josh would have had to have walked into. He would have had to have looked down that path and seen this and still thought it was a viable way to go. Now, we discussed this yesterday and some really clever people in here, because it missed my head, said maybe he was being chased into there. And that's the only way I could make it make sense. That's the only way I could make it make sense that he would have entered that area, is if he was desperately trying to get away or hide. 100% Charlotte. This is the area. So where you see his family up ahead, or the yellow t-shirt up ahead there, he would have had to have looked down there from the path and thought, that's where I'm going into. So that's kind of what he'd be able to see from the edge. That's where I'm going. And again, he was found just around here. Yes, he absolutely could have been. And one of the things that Ash pointed out to me yesterday, after some of the ideas we had, is right where that path is, it goes down there, there is a lay-by that a car can pull into. So opposite, there's a really posh housing estate, then you would pull into the lay-by and you would quite easily be able to take Josh's body into there, because you'd only be going a couple of 100 foot in. So it would be quite easy. We don't know, Paula, we don't know if he was dumped there at day or night. We just know he left his hotel at 12:23 in the afternoon, and we know that we don't hear from him again until his body's found days later by a local. Apparently the housing estate does have cameras, but they're not working, or they're only there to, they can only see number plates apparently, which I've never heard of before. Yeah, Nicola, I've been looking into, it's right opposite, yeah. So his family placed a memorial here of his shirt, but you can see the area. You can see the area. So it's a 5-minute walk in, but very uneven. So it would take at least 2 people then, surely, Dion, if they were going to do that. A&P Archon. So that's apparently all they've got a hand on, and all the other ones on this really big posh housing estate. None of them work. Just want to bring up this map a minute, because I haven't studied this properly, and I just want to bring it up so I can see it. So if I'm correct here, you've got Josh's hotel there right in the centre, and that's where Josh was found, right up there, like here where my finger is. So he was found here, is that right? I'll have a look in a minute, Ash, we can have a look. So this is, right, okay. So he would, so if you see here, just to point out to you guys, I'll make it bigger again, you see in a minute. Everywhere where he would have wanted to go was in the red and blue dots down here, the bars, the clubs, everything along the strip. Instead, a lot like with Nathan, he left his hotel and went the opposite way towards anything that he would wanted to have gone near. He had to have been taken there in a vehicle. He would not have walked. And then we have to ask the question, whose vehicle did he get in? Was it one he got in that day thinking it was a taxi? Was it someone he pre-arranged to meet? Whatever happened in that very short time, where just before Josh was like, I proper fucked up, which tells you he was someone who felt like he was in something at that moment that he couldn't get out of. So we know that this was, again, you can see his hotel right in the middle there, where it says Josh's hotel. It's in white writing, so it's hard to spot. And then at the top is where Josh's body would have been found. It was 25 minutes away, roughly, Al, to walk, but up a massive hill. I'm going to show you the walk in a minute. Apparently Ashley's got it posted in her video, so I'll go and have a look. Thank you, Hollybot. I don't know, have you ever been able to log into his iCloud? Or you haven't been able to? I don't even know if he had an iPhone, to be fair. Is there any way, have you been able to get phone records from the company or anything? Thank you, Kirsty. Morning, Hollybot. Have you been able to get any phone data or any kind of access to any phone information, despite not having the handset? No. No, he didn't have iPhone, so he had a Samsung. I'm just making an assumption, really. So you haven't been able to get hold of any phone records or anything. Okay, so the phone has never been found. It's only police that can, and then you'd have to have an open investigation. It's so hard to get phone records. It just really is hard, unless you have a murder that they're looking into. Let me just go to Ash's Facebook page so I can, on a TikTok page. Okay, thank you for that, Hello Kitty. Ash. How can I find it? Why did it make that stupid noise? Leave me alone. Right, can someone pin Ash's comment so I can see her actual account name, because I follow her, but I've followed too many Ashes. It's not coming out. It's going to take me ages. Can someone just pin Ash's actual account so I can just go straight there? Stop making that noise. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Harley Bob. Ash 373. I've got it straight away now. Thank you. So is this video, is this right from the entrance going in? This one? Would that be the right one? Thank you, everyone. I just want to check it's the right one before I play it. Yeah, okay. Right, let me take that map off quickly. Okay, so this is the area. So if you, I want you for a minute just to put yourself into Josh's mind, or anyone who was in Josh's situation. If you're going up a road and you're about to make a decision whether you carry on walking up the hill, or you go to a housing estate to ask for help, or would you go to this area? Now, bear in mind that he did have the condition, which meant his mobility wasn't the best, and his walking. This is what he would have encountered.
This is just entering the woods where he was found.
So you can see the housing estate there, right?
This side is just all a big drop down into the woods.
Oh, thank you, Ash.
This is where we originally thought Joshua was. Police here.
What do you mean by a hate crime?
Oh, there's a hole in the fence here, and that leads to a house down there. There's just one random house in the middle of the woods.
I wonder who lives in that house. You have. Do you know if it's connected, or if people just live there just normally?
It gets really overgrown up here now.
We need to look into that, Carol.
There's still a path leading through.
Okay, perfect. I doubt it would be.
But it's like really, really, really overgrown.
It's too much to ask that somebody would have done that on their own doorstep, where you can oversee it and everything is so connected when you've got the only house there. But I do wonder if they saw anything. I wonder if they saw anything. To have that house right there, they had to have seen or heard anything. Hey, Jen Bob, I hope everything went okay today. I wonder if they saw anything. I also wonder if other bodies have been. No murders for years. The thing is, Dion, with that is I struggle with that because the police in Spain tried to make everything not a murder. So, for instance, Brett Dryden to this day is still medical, which it can't be. It cannot be. So when we say no murders, they don't want to address anything as a murder. And I will always quote Brett Dryden's case because I've never seen a clearer case of murder. Not in the UK, not in Spain, not in anywhere. And even when we've recently had news over here, no one will know this because I've not spoke to you about this because we've covered Brett's case. Brett has had an autopsy in the UK, and they have announced that he died from head trauma, from wounds to the head. And the Spanish police still won't open it up as a murder. So despite the fact they can now tell that he died from the injury to his head, they are still saying, no, it was an aneurysm. They're trying to now say, okay, if it's not the aneurysm, it's from cocaine, but that's been ruled out. So it's just they'll do anything they can to make it not look like a murder. And he had a massive wound, like an axe had been hitting his head. Men running away from the scene, his phone. Sandra recently told me that even in October, they've just found out his phone was being turned back on again. They've traced it to a house, and the police said, yeah, the guy that lives in there is a prolific robbery. He has taken part in several high-profile robberies, but they don't want to go there. They don't want to look into it. It makes no sense. Brett Dryden. I don't understand why they're not as good to talk. Yeah, Crocs. You my friend now, Crocs?
Boy, on God's earth would Josh walk down here? I'm having to hold on to the fence just to get stable.
There's no way you can walk there.
Look, there's ditches everywhere.
Not with the issues he had.
This is where it gets really, really unsteady.
You have to ask yourself, they say there was no signs of violence on his body at all, no signs of any kind of injury. Even if he had walked there, especially with his mobility issues, etc., you would have expected him to be quite scuffed up from the brambles, from the fence. We know that you saw several holes in the fence where there was wire sticking out. So you would have think there would be some kind of injury. It's more likely that he was carried to that area, not to have any injury at all. Because I'm sure after you guys finished in there, you were, either scuffed up, you weren't doing well. You can hear your breathing even trying to walk through there. You're in the Spanish heat and you're walking into an area which is full of different stuff. When I go to the woods with the kids, I come home, I've got scratches on my head, on my side, I've got scratches on my arms, on my legs. We've been stung by things. It just doesn't make any sense. So a local found his body. What did the locals say they were doing out there? Because I can't imagine why a local would be going through that part, especially when just down from there, through the hole, you've got the actual woods with the clear walkways and the house and stuff. So why was even the local up there? We never found out. Did you ever get a chance to speak to a dog walker? Why would they take their dog into that area though? Look at all the brambles and you can see there, all the anything that can sting you, all the things there. It's not it's not like a path, is it? It doesn't make any sense. Let me go here. Let me see what that message was I just received. I just got something. No. Okay, so someone's messaged me saying that they work with phone companies, and if you have the power of attorney, you should be able to request Josh's phone records and itemised billing. Have you tried to do that? I can always forward you this whole text message and just cut off the name so you can. This person said they're quite happy to help you with any questions that you have, because I think that may be a massive step to finding out what happened and exactly what time his phone powered down. Yeah, I will ask about I'll ask if I'll say, can I pass your details on? Because I think we have to do something here. Because, like, I know, for instance, in the Claudia Lawrence case, and just a case on top of my head, they could tell that the phone had been physically powered down, for instance, and they said it wasn't the battery running out, the phone hasn't been destroyed at that point, it had been physically turned down at this exact time. And that gave us an exact time of what time that she was probably taken, because we have that information. So that's really important, to know whether it was on for 6 hours afterwards. You know, so that's the kind of thing. So I know September was when he died, but I mean, we need to know what time the phone was turned off. Was it turned off that night? Was it turned on a week? When was it turned off that day when your brother could no longer contact anyone? I know it's been turned on since, and I know messages from one of his friends has been read because there's 2 ticks. You showed me that yesterday. I'm not going to put those messages out because they're private between him and his friend, but it just proves that the phone has been accessed several times since. What forensics take from there? So Sunshine, when the family got there and his mum was there on the day after the body had been found, there was no sign the police had been out there at all. No sign of police tape, crime scene tape. No sign that anyone had been asked not to enter that area. There was nothing. So I would not believe that forensics were taken. Was he involved in any football firms? Casual? No, I don't believe he was involved in anything like that, no. He was just a die-hard football fan. No forensics at all. Perfect. I'm just going to go through a couple of the things that we asked yesterday to try and give you some answers. I'm not going to read it all out because I want to check what it says. Okay. So Josh's phone has been off all this time. The one day his mum tried to ring it just randomly and it did actually ring, but no one answered. And one of his friends has WhatsApped him. He's been messaging him to say, you'd be so proud of your mum and your sister. We miss you, mate, and all of that. And as he's messaged him like every couple of days, one of them turned on and the message was read after Josh had already been found. So we know at this point someone is accessing his phone. There was no investigation. It was just like, oh, he died of sudden death. Sorry. So they have not tried to do any of the things you would think. So that was in October, a whole month after he'd been found. And I do have the message here. And we can see that on the 2nd of October, Josh's phone reads a message. Now, after that, his friend has messaged him several times afterwards. They have never gone through. They only have 1 tick. Are you sure? Okay, so you can see on this message here, sent on the 2nd of October, it has 2 ticks. And then after that, this way, there is it doesn't go through anymore. Okay, so the message they would have read was the posts by Josh's sister and his mum, and it says, she's doing you absolutely proud, Josh. I haven't got to speak to your sister. I'm going to speak to your sister on Monday or Tuesday, and I'm going to see her during the weekend. She's doing amazing for you. So that was read. Okay. We know he had €500 on him. That has never been found. So Spanish police expect us to believe that Josh left his hotel on the first day of his hotel, headed up a hill to an area he couldn't have walked by himself, then walked into a most overgrown, horrific area, laid down and died, and then his phone and his money just disappeared, and there's nothing suspicious in it at all. Okay, so here, this is the picture I wanted. So here, as you walk up the hill, you have like the housing estate on one side, then you walk up here, and then there's the area where his body was found. And then where his body was found through, there's like a lay-by. So you can park, you can see the housing estate, but there is a lay-by you can pull into on the side of the road, and then you would just be able to carry him from there or push him into that area. You would be able to. This is the CCTV. I'll just show you the only lay-by up that whole area. And this is the CCTV of Josh coming out of his room and talking to the cleaner. We don't know what the conversation was. We don't know if he asked her a question. We don't know if he asked for help. We don't know. We just know that when the family posted that picture, they were asked by police straight away, take that down, as if that was offensive anyway. You can't even see most of her, and you can only see Josh's the back of his head, but they were told they had to take it down. A lay-by is an area you can drive into to pull the car up. So like when a road goes like that, you have the bits on the side of the road where you can park for a minute. Did he? I don't know if he smoked or vaped, I don't know. Oh, I'll play this clip actually. Let me turn my camera. I'm going to bet he didn't smoke. Did he vape or anything? No. So he wouldn't be looking for a vape shop or anything like that. I'm gonna let you, for anyone who's coming a little bit late or anything like that, I'm gonna play a whole news BBC interview now that talks about the mystery death of Josh. I've not seen this yet. I didn't catch you when you sent it to me, Ash. It went over my head. I came offline. I had lunch. I didn't see it. So it's 2 minutes long. So we'll just watch it together. It is a while back, but at least it'll just give people a little bit. I just like to watch it really and see what we get from it, if you don't mind. Did he drink at all? I take it he liked a beer. I don't think he was a prolific drinker or anything. I think the feeling I get with Josh, his family can correct me, is he was just a really normal 33-year-old lad. You know what I mean? Didn't have loads of money, but he'd like to go on a little solo holiday, would go away for a week, really close to his family, his sister, his mum. Just a really normal lad. Is that the loudest it'll go?
Was found in the resort of Lorette de Mar 3 days after he left his hotel room. Local police have closed the case, saying there were no signs of violence. But the 33-year-old sister has accused the authorities of failing to carry out a thorough investigation.
Few times story.
From Walsall, our correspondent Ben Godfrey reports.
Josh was very laid back. He was really, really chatty. He'd get on with anybody. He had a heart of gold.
10 weeks after Josh Rogers' body was found in the Spanish woodland, his sister Ashley says she's not yet been told how he died.
As a family who's grieving, they have not been supported in the slightest. The talk between the Spanish police and my mum, it's been very minimal.
Josh arrived in Spain in the early hours of the 20th of September. Later that day, he was seen leaving a hotel in Lorette de Mar. His body was found 3 days later in Woodland, some 20 minutes walk away. When Josh's body was found, his possessions weren't on him. There's been a development, hasn't there?
Mum's been calling Josh's phone every single day since he went missing. And recently, the calls have started going through to Josh's phone, so we believe that his phone has been turned on.
Okay,
I believe that it's been stolen because Josh wouldn't lose his phone. He's always in constant contact with his family.
Catalan police told the BBC they've closed the investigation.
Perfect, thanks, Ash.
They said the investigators and the forensic doctor did not find any signs of violence in the examination of the body, and later, during the autopsy, no specific cause was detected.
Can I ask that? Did they do an autopsy, Ash, before they ID'd him? Because I've not heard of that before. Normally, like in America or anywhere else, you would need the identity of the body before you could do an autopsy. So did they do an autopsy, bearing in mind that by the time the ID was done, that he was in no fit state to be seen? So they did do an autopsy. And you don't have the results of that. They're saying up to a year. So at this point, it could be a year down the line and you could find out he did have a head trauma or he did have something. Okay.
Investigation continue.
They must have. So they did one without even knowing who he was, or his background, or his medical, who did nothing. It just so worries me that this hasn't been done properly. Well, it obviously hasn't been done
We
properly.
would like a second autopsy because we feel like we're not being told the truth completely. We feel like things may be twisted. We know in
100%.
previous cases of British lads dying out in Spain, they've had second autopsies also. And I think we really, really deserve that as a family and to finally get justice for Josh.
Ben Godfrey, BBC Midlands Today, Walsall.
Well, we've contacted the Spanish Coroner's Office for an update, but haven't had a response yet. In other news, the family of an...
Makes you so angry, so angry. The thing is, to me, the difference between saying there's no injury, where you've done a proper autopsy, and saying there's no physical signs of violence is the same as me looking at someone's body and saying, well, there's no signs of violence. And then we do an autopsy and we fully look at the body and you find out actually there's 6 broken ribs and the spleen is ruptured and all of those things. Like, we can't tell by looking at a body, oh, there's no signs of violence. You just can't. Also, when you you can't do that. You would have to do a full autopsy, and I very much doubt that was done. Very much doubt that was done. You're not saying there was no attack, there was no, and you say there are no signs of violence. Well, if you'd done a full autopsy, we wouldn't be looking at signs. We would be looking at fact. And that just makes me really, really angry, because now we know there may never be any chance of having that information due to the fact that they didn't store his body properly. And then you have to think about some kind of cover-up. Yeah, I want people to do that. I want Ash, because I want to talk about Josh again tomorrow, but I want to go more in depth tomorrow. But I would like, in the meantime, if people can go to Ash's page and just repost her videos, watch them, look into the areas, because I can put them on the screen, but when you're watching them properly on your own phone, you can look in and you can zoom in, it's so much different. I want you to repost the videos. Set yourself a goal of like, I'm going to leave 10 comments on Ash's videos, because it will push the videos out. It will. You have to leave a comment of at least 5 words to push a video out on TikTok. You could put justice for Josh Rogers with blue hearts and it will push it out. Also, if you could join the Facebook group and do the same there, repost it. That's something I've got to do today, because I've done some of the TikTok videos, but I need to go over to the Facebook page, because I need to go onto my justice page, my comic crime one, and push it out on there. So we need to get other people to see this videos and understand. I'm going to do a video for Josh today. I'm going to do my first Josh video today. I wanted to get more of an understanding in my mind. So I'm going to do a first video for Josh today. I've also got to speak to Sandra Dryden in a little while as well, because this is what I feel, Ash. I feel like somebody coming forward who has laid eyes on Josh is a massive hope that we need to go for someone who's been on holiday in the area. The government never seem to help. I know Sandra's got a interview in the next couple of days, hopefully, with the Justice Minister, the Foreign Minister, and we're really hoping that pushes, but we need to push harder. Awareness needs to be out. You need to get a case, kind of like Jay Slater type case, where you push it out into all the media, you push it out on social media. Social media is normally the main way you would go, where you need people trending Josh's name. What happened to Josh Rogers? What happened to Josh Rogers? Which is where I come into it. But I need you guys to repost the videos, share the videos, comment on the videos. I need you guys to keep pushing it out, because if this family aren't heard online, I don't know which way the case will go, because that's the only way to do it. Nathan's mum saw Justice Minister, did she? It's hard to keep track of what's going on in Nathan's case as much. I do touch base with Alana and Lee sometimes, but yeah, it's hard, isn't it, when people are grieving and they've got so much going on and they're just pushing forward all the time. The phone is a massive thing. What I want to do in the next 24 hours before I come live with you guys tomorrow, I want to look into the local area myself and have a look at what we can find out going on, what crime gangs are operating in the area, what kind of things are going on. I want to have a look at that particular day when the Wolves game was on. Did anything happen? What was going on? Thank you, Ruth. Those things are really important to do. In the meantime, if you guys can, please go over to the Facebook page and just, even if you repost 5 videos, share them on your platform, comment on them. If you have any questions, go and ask the questions, because all of those things will boost posts out. If you don't have a question, just put justice for Josh Rogers. We have to keep doing this. I'm going to put out my first video for Josh today. I'm going to try and do it at a prime time, which I think will be about 5 o'clock tonight, because I want it to go straight out into the algorithm and I don't want it to be held up. And sometimes if you don't pick the right time of day, it just doesn't, it flops. And we don't need that right now. And I just ask people to repost, comment and share those things, because we have to keep doing it, because otherwise Josh won't get heard, and his family have already been through too much. They've been through enough. Yeah, thank you, Dion, and thank you, Ash, for sharing Josh's story with us and trusting us with it, because I know you're at your wit's end. I know you've been through so much. We have other family members in here right now who have lost loved ones to Spain. Hardy Bop's in here as well. She's John George's cousin who lost his life in Alicante in a brutal murder last December. So we do have other families who are part of our community who have been through the worst. And it really took for their family to go out there to find him, to put the pieces together, to go out and find the criminals, even his family had to do, because this is Hardy Bop. No one was doing it for them. They absolutely had to fight tooth and nail. It was John George's dad that went and stood outside their house and called the police again and said, they're in there, I'm not leaving. These cases, Brett Dryden's mum, she had to fight every step of the way. She had to walk up and down. And it's just, we need to get all the families together at some point. We need to get all the families together and start fighting and putting these cases out there collectively, as this is what's happened in Spain to our children. Because I believe it's mainly due to money and holidays and tourism that they don't want people talking about these cases. But this can happen to any of our children. I think when you look at victim types as well, when you look at somebody like Josh, who was so unassuming, no trouble, no criminal record, no fingerprints on file, a massive smile, open to everyone, had vulnerabilities, and he went on holiday and he didn't come back. We're not looking at anything that it could not happen to my child, your brother, your sister. This could happen to anyone. Rogers, without a D, thank you. It could happen to anyone. And we can't just keep ignoring it, or being like, well, it's, God forbid it's not my family, because it could be at any time. Since I joined TikTok, the amount of cases I've covered where young men have gone, thank you, Karen, young men have gone to Spain and never come home. And these are men in their 20s, their 30s, that absolutely just went to have a break and a holiday. I think it's easier with men sometimes as well to not feel, oh my God, someone attacked a woman. I think it's easier to be like, oh, was he drinking loads? And it's always the same questions. And I get why people ask the questions. I get it's important. But, was he GAY? Could it have been a hate crime? Did he smoke? Did he drink? Was he part of a football hooligan? We ask all those questions. But sometimes it's just the fact that he was a really normal bloke that went on holiday and somebody's absolutely taken advantage of him because he's too kind. Because he was too kind, and he may have got into it. He simply, because we don't know, could have got into a normal taxi rank, asked them to take him to the bar to watch the football, and they took him up the other way to rob him. Something's gone wrong, i.e. they've ended up doing something that's gone too far. It's cut off his hair, he's died, so they've had to dump his body. And it could have just wanted to be a simple robbery to take his phone. And any of us go on holiday and get into a taxi. We know you will, Ash, and we'll support you, and we'll at least try to amplify your voice so people can hear. Like I said, tomorrow we'll meet back here. We'll talk about Josh again. We know at some point, Satara, it's a robbery, right? His phone's gone, his money's gone, his bank card's gone. The one problem with cases in Spain is you've got the whole judicial system against you. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to identify bodies. They don't want to talk about cases. They don't want to help you. They don't want to put it down as a murder. They don't want to do anything. And you just fighting the whole time. And then you find in some places, like with the fact they had to cremate Josh, it's like they push you into a corner so hard that they're like, well, what are you going to do now? You got two choices. Nobody is going to leave their loved one in Spain. No one. As much as I would have hated to do it, I would have had to have created my loved one, because I could not leave him over there with a country I don't trust anymore. Thank you, Emma. So at that point, what do you do? And now you cremate him, and then they're like, well, there's no second autopsy. It's just shocking. It's absolutely shocking. It's so shocking. Makes me really sad. I saw you had your Christmas tree and Josh is on your Christmas tree, and I think it's the worst thing, isn't it, when your family member becomes your bauble. This is my dad, and then you just literally, and you just think like this isn't what it should be. Like, he's 33, he should be here for Christmas, and then the whole next year and the next year is going to spend fighting for justice, for somebody to listen. And what really makes me angry really badly is, why aren't the UK doing more? Why isn't the embassy, the police, the government doing more to be outraged that a young man went on holiday and didn't come back, and his stuff's all gone and he's taken to a wooded area, and they don't want to do nothing? Like, where are our own government? The people that are supposed to protect us? We saw similar failings from our own government and from the Portuguese police with Madeleine McCann. Took them over 14 hours to close down ports, to shut down airports and boat ports. And at that time, they just kept saying, no, no, no. And then she could be anywhere. And we haven't learned. We haven't learned since then. And we're still not learning. We're still not doing any of the things that need to be done. 100% good talk. If we had a Spanish man come over to the UK and be found in a wooded area in London, his wallet gone, his phone gone, it'd be all over the front pages of the news. 100% it would be. It would be a murder investigation and they would be looking into it. His family would be all over the media and we'd be talking about it. And it's only those a couple of cases. Say Jay Slater. Jay Slater hit the media running because of his age. He was at a rave. It was cool. So we had the young people involved, the older people involved, the parents involved. And he just went massive. Hardly any cases do that. It's so hard to hit that right algorithm with the right words. But every case should have, and I don't begrudge Jay Slater the attention he had. Absolutely, I'm glad he had it. But every case should have that same level of attention. Every case, no matter what age the victim, what the victim looked like, what lifestyle they had, every victim should matter as much as the last. And if we tally what happened to Jay Slater with what happened to John George, when we happened with Brett Dryden, Nathan, now Josh, we're just adding the names. We're just adding and adding and adding. Hey Stace. It's just making me so frustrated. I'm going to put Josh Big for a minute and just everybody just understand why we're doing this. And please try to understand this is Ash's brother and this is Dion's son. So this isn't just a case. This isn't just a headline. This wasn't just remains like the police kept saying or a body. This is their son, their brother. Ash's best friend, their family. And if it can happen to their family, it can happen to every single one of our families. Because I've looked into Josh and I've looked into who Josh was, and he was the last person this should have happened to. No criminality in his background, nothing about him that made him a high-risk victim, no lifestyle that would have made him an easy choice, nothing. Just a vulnerable, kind, nice guy looking forward to a week in the sun and a bit of football on the telly. There should be, Star. There should be. Got really kind eyes, hasn't he? He's got a really open face, like a really open, smiley face. Like you can see straight away that he's actually a really great guy. Really, Ellie. Yeah, it's just cheeky smile. But sent Spanish time. Yeah, we were just saying about that, Gary, about the it was sent Spanish time, but it would have received at the right time on the English one. He was a wind up, was he? Was it just you two, Ash, brother and sister, or was there more kids in the family? Was it just the two of you? Or has you got more siblings, I mean? Thank you, Miss Icon. Just ask. I'm so sorry, Ash. I'm so sorry to Dion as well. His mum is in here, Dion. We just need to put the facts together into a way that makes sense and then keep pushing the videos out. And we have to pick the clever headlines. You have to just do whatever you can to try and grab people's attention. Which I will put out the first video tonight. I'll try to land the first video about 4:30, I think, today. Because I think then everybody who's finished work, everybody's finished, like all of those times mums come back from school time and stuff, it should try and push it out. Then I'll come live a few times, ask everyone to repost the video. If we can get Josh's video, the first video, to like 10k views, it will push the rest of the way. And before you know it, you're just going up and up. You just got to get to that 10k first. But I'm sure as a community we can get it to 10k views just by ourselves, even if we have to watch it 5-10 times each. And then we can kind of push it out. We need to know that people are listening. I'm going to recover in the next couple of days Brett Dryden's case as well, just because I was talking to Sandra. I love Sandra so much. I just wish that she didn't have to keep fighting. No family, no mum should have to go back to the area where their son's bodies are found and root through bushes themselves like Dion has, like Ash has, like Sandra has. They shouldn't be looking for their own son's murderers. They shouldn't have to be looking over autopsy reports. They shouldn't have to do that. They shouldn't have to be doing work that no parent ever needs to see. I remember when Nathan's family shared the full autopsy report with me that they'd all been reading. And I couldn't believe a mother had read those words. I couldn't believe that she had to read about organs and all of those things. I couldn't believe that they had forced her to have to highlight bits themselves that were hard enough for me to read with my background, let her know knowing they knew Nathan. I call her a metal grate on Labour. It just doesn't make any sense. No parent should have to do that. It's hard enough to accept that he's not coming home, that you sent him off for a good holiday. So sorry, Ella. It isn't the natural thing. It isn't the natural way of things. It's not natural to have to do it. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Right. So tomorrow at 11, we'll be doing the same thing. Tomorrow at 11, I want to bring some more local knowledge to the area and actually start looking into the area, the maps of the area. Any other things that are highlighted around there, any bars that are particularly trouble. And then we'll be looking to make appeals for anyone who's on holiday in that area at that time. Because I don't think people realise sometimes that it can be the smallest bit of information that you need. We dropped to the train station. I can't even imagine, Dion. I'm so sorry for your loss and for Ash. I cannot imagine what you're going through still to this day. It's not fair. There's no time for grieving, is there? There's no time for grieving when you have to fight. There's no time for sadness or to appreciate your own loss when you're having to fight every single day to be heard. It's just unfair. So unfair. I remember when I first met Sandra Dryden, we voice noted every single day and she was never not weeping. And it was so hard. And as soon as she mentioned breakfast, she would just be in pieces. And this poor woman can't catch a fucking break. Like, just leave her alone. Do something. Let her see that you're doing something. And I was just talking to her every day. And in the end, like, you just become so, like, used to it, acclimatized to it, because it was just her new normal, that she was just so sad. It's horrible. Love you, Kirsty. Thank you, everyone, for the support today and for the family for being so respectful and so kind. And thank you to the family for being so open. Like, I know sometimes when people don't know Josh and they ask the questions like, was he in a relationship? Was he this? Was he that? And I know that can be very hard. But I know, like you guys have said from day one, like, we're really open. We just want justice. We just want truth. There's no secrets. There's nothing we're trying to hide. We just want to have the truth. Chloe, not everyone's hating on me at the moment. Everyone in here loves me. I have a lot of love and support. It's a few bad people, and it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah, so we'll continue to support you guys. We'll get the first video out today, which I think will be the big thing. We'll get the first video out, and then I'll come live and I'll push and push and push it. You're quite welcome to download the video, get it on your Facebook page if you want to. We'll get people over there today to repost. Thank you, Holly Pop, love you. We'll get the people over today. I want to come over when my kids finish school about 3:30. I'm going to come and check on you all. I'm going to the Facebook group. I'm going to see who's commenting. I'm going to see who's making comments and who's interacting with the posts, and on Ash's TikTok. You've all got homework. And I will highlight any of you that haven't. No, I'm joking. I won't highlight any of you that haven't. I know some of you have got busy days, but I do think it would. So it's orange and black hearts for Josh. So remember that, guys. Orange and black hearts. So it's the wolf's colour. I honestly think that people that would have met Josh would have remembered him. Like, I always remember anyone who I hear with that accent, always. So I would have, if I'd been on holiday and I would have heard someone talking, I would have been, oh, he's from the UK. Could they be sued for neglecting Josh's body? At the moment, Sunshine, that is such a slim possibility in the grand scheme of what we need. We need justice before we look at anything like that. We don't want to focus on anything other than justice and who did this, because it's already so hard to get heard in the justice system in Spain that to start looking off and things like that, it would just take away from the thing. It's impossible over there to be heard. Thank you, everyone, for flooding the hearts. No problem, Ash. Let me just check my message a minute, because I'm just waiting for a message from someone. I've got to quickly check if it's here or not. Nope, okay. Yeah, so before I ask any more questions, I just want to put the first video together with the basic facts. So I don't want to confuse myself or confuse the video. I just want to grab people's attention to begin with. What time is it now? 12:40. Right, can't stop yawning today. Log in. No, okay, so it's going to be another hour. Can you give me a Facebook link? I only just come on. The Facebook group, yeah, I'll put it up for you again. So you just type in exactly this. Is it coming up? Yep, Justice for Josh Rogers. And it's Rogers, just Rogers without the D. If people can go over there, if you didn't already, if you can go over there and sign up for that group, you just press follow. It's free to do so. Pardon me, sorry. And it's just a way of following up on Josh's case, any updates that come in, anything like that, anything they need help with, any questions they may be asking. You know, we had someone in here who's a phone expert. We've got someone else in here who used to be a funeral director. So we have different people in here that will be able to maybe answer some questions. What? What the fuck? Where has that happened? Where? Oh, in the estate. So yeah, can people please join the group if you can, please? Let me see what we're doing for numbers. We've got 810. We've got 810, and I'm determined for it to be 1,000 before we can see the week out. 1,000 is really not a lot to ask. So if you haven't joined, can you go and join now, please? I'll join off my Comic Crime page in a minute as well. If we get it to 1,000, that would be amazing. When we got on this yesterday, there was 500 and something. So every little helps. And then when we get push out the videos, more people will be looking, because we'll tag the page in it as well. Things like this are important for the simple fact as well, when you're trying to attract the government and newspapers and stuff to a story. Thank you, Ange. We want them to be like, oh my God, look, that's, you know, Josh's army is 1,000 strong, it's 2,000 strong, it's 5,000 strong, because we want them to see that we're not ignoring what's going on, that we are actually joining things, we're listening, we're a part of something. So it's really important to kind of join up and get behind things. So, what have you just noticed today? I don't understand. Oh. Confusing me. Thank you, guys. Let me go back and check. I keep my eye. I remember so many Justice Page. I keep seeing posts coming up. We're at 8:27. Thank you, Marion. Post it into any true crime groups that you're members of. I'm a member of quite a few, so I can always post it in. You can just post a screenshot and hopefully get people to come and join up. Any trolls or anyone you get coming in, just block. Anyone who's disrespectful towards Josh, anyone who's disrespectful or asks weird questions, who messages you giving weird descriptions, just block them. Just keep yourself safe and keep yourself at peace, because you will undoubtedly get people come forward. I know even Georgina Garcella's mum, the things she gets messaged about what may have happened to her, it's just, there's always the bad people. But if we can get people to, I can see some of you guys posted as well in there, and that makes me happy. So good. 15 followers to go. Are you? It's 800 something, isn't it, Alana? Or am I going mad? It's 832. Or you talk about Ash's profile. Or we're tracking different things. We may be. Yeah, it is. Okay. So Ash is nearly 1,000. So if we can follow Ash, we only need what Alana's saying, and then we only need like 100 more in the Facebook group. So let's go. Drum roll. Yeah, Ash, we can definitely get to 1,000 today, because then she can post links in her bio and all that, petitions or stuff like that. So if you could do that. All right, we're 17 away on Ash's profile. Anyone who's heard Josh's story in here today who hasn't followed Ash, there's something wrong with you. I'm just going to state that now. Thank you, Lindsay. If you can sit in here for an hour and talk about Josh, but you can't follow Ash, who's Josh's sister, then I would just post a daily Ash, even if it's just a photo. if it's just a photo of the song, if you're not in it, even if it's just reposted a video, just try and keep it active. Even if you're getting 3-4 followers a day, it's just keeping it moving. I'll post one of your posts to my story in a minute as well, so that we can attract people that way as well.